Raucous 90 minutes that ends with a handshake but did not begin with one. Who won? Hillary? Donald? Certainly not America, judging by what we saw in that 90 minutes and the reaction that we saw on social media. At times it was uncomfortable in that room. You could feel the anger between the candidates at times. She accused him of being unfit, of being a liar, saying his campaign is exploding, saying he's run a hateful, divisive campaign. He accused her of being the devil and said she ought to be in jail, and she will be if he becomes president of the United States. She ought to be ashamed of herself, he said, saying she has tremendous hate in her heart. But she's a fighter, and she likes his kids. Those were the two nice things they managed to say about each other in what was a debate unlike any we have seen in U.S. history, Brett.
In fact, it was the most tweeted debate ever, according to Twitter. It was divisive from the start, dealing with the tape, dealing with Bill Clinton's affairs and the women he met with, Donald Trump met with right before the debate. However, on substance, this was Donald Trump's best debate. He landed a lot of punches. The question is whether he came off presidential. He clearly did one thing. He clearly put that tape and the crisis over the last 48 hours in the rearview mirror, according to his supporters and a lot of people who were following this. Interestingly
for
enough,
him,
sure,
and his supporters.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
The media is not going to lay off that, and his detractors are not.
The person who did not tweet during this debate, did not react during the debate, was his vice presidential nominee. Mike Pence hasn't said anything throughout the debate, as opposed to the Democratic vice presidential nominee who was actively putting things out throughout. Whether Donald Trump got over the bar to unite the Republican Party after the concerns of the past 48 hours, I think is yet to be seen. But he had some strong moments in this debate.
He did, and after they got past that first 30 minutes, which were about the tape and what he said and the sniping back and forth, he started to throw some real punches, punch after punch after punch, which is what his supporters wanted him to do the last time. In particular, on the email exchange, he left nothing behind. He went right after her directly, had a great line about Abraham Lincoln when they talked about the WikiLeaks releases and her talking about how you have to be different in private. She tried to blame that on an Abe Lincoln quote. He let her have it, referring back to Honest Abe. So he had a couple of zingers that seemed organic. They didn't seem planned, and so he was a little bit more vintage Trump. But he did interrupt her a lot. He got in her face a bit. He got in the moderator's face, and they got in his. And another question is, how does that play in that critical group of swing voters in the middle, in particular women, suburban women, who he needs to persuade to back him?
I will say that going after moderators is usually probably a pretty easy target, since we in the media have a percentage lower than Congress as far as approval.
And Congress has a percentage lower than a cockroach.
Exactly, so we're in trouble. Let's bring in our panel. Tucker Carlson is here with